Hey, it is LadyO. I'm going to try to be quick as I can. Um, just want to thank, I haven't been able to respond to DMs as much. I was going through and I saw a couple old messages and that I responded to, and some couple new ones I was able to respond to. Haven't gotten through all of them. I intentionally put a timer at an hour for each platform for me to, at the end of my day, to go through each platform, and I have a timer. And Instagram actually has a timer for that. It actually, you could set a time. I forgot what the feature is, but you set the time that you want, and when you come to that time, it actually comes on screen, gives you a reminder, and it tells you your time is up, kind of a thing. So I can't remember where that feature is, but you can look in your back office or your dashboard or whatever and find that out. But anyhow, so I endeavor just to give myself an hour on platforms, and then I have emails that I have to respond back to. So thank you for everybody that has been sending me DMs. And yeah, I am angry. Children are suffering at the hands of adults that are comfortable, and at the hand of adults who are misapplying what being in peace is, and misapplying being on a higher vibration, misapplying what that means. And righteous anger in this world of kumbaya, and I always said I'd always kumbayaing with evil and darkness. I and those like me are always gonna be that way, and we're always gonna be seen that way, and we're okay in that. So when people tell me that, it actually is a compliment, and I responded back to someone. I hope they didn't think I was being facetious or being. I really was a compliment when I do get messages that I am making people uncomfortable, and their takeaway is that I am angry, and as a result of that, they're not listening to my videos anymore. That's good. Don't listen, and that's okay because you're uncomfortable. But to send me it, and for some reason, I don't know what the intention is, but I'm very grateful that they do take the time to tell me that. They have no idea how affirming and positive it is when I get emails like that. Yes, I do appreciate the ones that tell me I'm doing a great job and yada and all this kind of stuff. Yes, I do appreciate those. When I get the ones that are bold enough to tell me that my videos make them uncomfortable, and it seems like I am in an angry place, and they wish me well, and they wish that I could be at peace. Sorry, I don't mean to laugh. I am like, thank you, Lord. Like, to me, that is like mission accomplished. Because I am not here to make people comfortable. I always say, and maybe they missed one of those videos where I say, who I am make people mildly uncomfortable, moderately uncomfortable, or severely uncomfortable. When you are in a place of being comfortable in this environment, is one thing to accept. They say there's that prayer, and again, the misapplication of what those sayings and prayer means, to accept the things that you can't control, and work with what you can, and all of these nice dogmas, and we have them in washrooms. Many of you have them in plaques that you're welcoming at your door, and like nice cards and quotes and whatever. It feels good, sounds good, but at the end of the day, what you're giving, evil and darkness, is more territory and more years to stay here and cause more havoc and shed more blood. So I don't get tickled with those worldly dogmas and those feel good cliches that accept what you can accept and let go of what you can't and all that stuff. I I I understand what they're trying to say, and I see the manifestation of how that has been so grossly misapplied in our world, and that's where we are. So for those who do not want to do the mirror work and do not want to quote unquote rock the boat, those type of dogmas, they apply it and justify a state of being that makes them comfortable with the chaos. And they qualify that comfort by saying, I can't control what I can't control, and I only can control my world, and my world is right here. And right. And then those who hear what those dogmas are saying and do the mirror work and apply it. Yes, you cannot control what Justin Trudeau, Bill Gates, and all these guys are doing. However, every man and woman that go to work for them can. So there is that two-sided coin, the two-sided sword, the two-sidedness of that statement that you can't control because you are cutting grass, or you are sewing fabric, or you are the electrician or the plumber. You're not in Bill Gates' world. You're not in all these world economic world, politician world, whatever. And somebody is. Some adult is going to work in that environment and giving their human resources that pushes and builds that environment. Bill Gates isn't this anomaly, World Economic Forum, the WHO, the World Health Organization, the CDC, like all these anomalies that people just think they just exist, like racism or sexism or religion. Yeah, religion is, be careful with that thing called religion. Like, it's just these things that exist, and even evil, right? Like, evil just exists, and we can't do anything with evil. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Because you are an asset to evil, or you're a liability to it. And the opposite is true. You're either an asset to good, prosperous, beautiful, truth. You're either an asset to that, or you're a liability. Every man, every woman. And when you bring children into this world, you either rinse and repeat to make them be assets or liabilities to those energies. So the misapplication of those nice quotes that people walk around and they feel so, they believe they're so enlightened with these quotes. It's just like, So yes, my anger will always be there. And when I have my moments of the Most High coming down in a form of touching me with revelation, I am going to reveal. And if that makes you, the listener, uncomfortable, feel free. There's that button that says unfollow, unlike, X out, keep going, right? It's a choice. Everything we do is a choice. And what I said to that person with all love, and that's why I'm saying it, so hopefully they do listen to this. When I said what I say what I said, and I'm going to stand on with it. I am not here to be affected by likes and follows. And many people don't get that with me, and it's hard for them to wrap their head around. When you know what your purpose is, I am a witness. There's many of us that have many different roles. I am just a witness. I am a witness so that when the time comes, it can be said, you heard, you had access to, or you had opportunity to. Myself and many others in our different nations, in our different places and spaces, we all are living witnesses. That's what it's, we're living witnesses that on this day and this time, even when you make the choice to unfollow, even when you hear the first sentence and you click off, it's still recorded that you made the free will choice with your bias, your uncomfortableness, your made up mind based on the worldly dogmas that has infiltrated your mindset. So you really believe that you're tuning off negativity when you should be actually tuning in, so you can actually see the negativity and how you are being a part of it, either liability or an asset. And in doing so, you're going to be uncomfortable listening. It doesn't matter at what point you X out, you unfollow, or you unfriend or whatever. It's still recorded that on this day and this time, you made that choice. So when I tell people, I really don't think they get me. I know people don't get me, because trust me, my own family, the people you grew up with. When I tell people, and I say this, I know it's with all humility, and I think I have on one hand, I think I have two people. I was gonna say one, but two people that truly get who I am, and they see me. So when I move and when I do things, they see it on a different level. I am here as a living witness. And when I do things, they know I am just going based on instruction, and it's for it to be recorded. When I came on social media and platforms, many people are here to use it as revenue, use it as another income stream. The brick and mortar was demolished by your governments that you are wanting to now live in peace with and have some kumbaya atmosphere with. So now you are going along with them saying, hey, now let's use social media as your business. So even in you launching social media and using it, and again, for who want this to be offended to them, that's where you are in your space. But even going along with the algorithms and then using this now to build your business, you are participating in their rebuilding and their resetting and getting rid of the brick and mortar and allowing artificial intelligence and social media to be the new form of business. And many are uncomfortable with that, because many of you have made a lot of money. We talk about all the Amazons made a lot of money, but a lot of entrepreneurs have been millionaires online, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, social media marketing, ClickFunnels. Like, everybody has a masterclass. Everybody has, like, it's one of those things that, listen, I see the way my vision is, it's just different. And hence why I say when I show up, I'm here differently. When I say I'm here differently, because unlike many that say they know they're only here for a time, I truly know that I am only here for a time. This is a journey. Many of you say it, I'm having the human experience, I'm on a journey, and just like many say they're believers of Christ and they believe of God, and you don't live it. Like, I was listening to, I can't remember who, many different sources, and just hearing who else is out there that is aware. And someone said, oh, it was Myron Golding himself. Yes, it was. I tell you, I'm thankful for timing and him resurfacing, and he resurfaced for such a time as this, because he's also on assignment. Like, you can tell who's on assignment and who's piggybacking on the assignment, but they're really not on the assignment. And even though when they do that, they're an asset to the assignment. Let me tell you. Yes, Lord. Let me look at my time, because I 14 minutes. Okay, I gotta wrap. And I know this is why I know my transition is podcast, and I'm reaching out to someone that came across my path, because I know I'm here for a time. And I said I'm here for a witness. And we all are either assets or liability to this agenda. Okay? And for those of you who say you know you're on a journey and this is not forever, it has been recorded that you said it, and it's also been recorded how you lived that statement. Okay? Because many who say, "Oh, I'm only here for a time, I'm just sojourning, I'm just on a journey," and da. Are you really living life knowing that you're only here for a time, or have you sold out? If you know, that's for the podcast. That is for the podcast. Yes. Okay. Listen. Myron Golden made a statement, one of many, and I'm trying to paraphrase it and pull it to my collection, my recollection in a proper way so I can give it justice to what he said. Myron said that many people say they believe in God or they call themselves believers, but how many people are really living as if they believe? Because if many of you who really live like you are a believer, like a believer in the principles, believer in what is in it, like trust and believe, we would not be here in this society that we have. If we really, and that is why I did a post earlier. I've done it before in many different versions, but the called and the chosen. We have so many callers, and that, even that statement, many are called, can be unpacked on a 2-hour podcast. Just that statement, many are called. What are you called? Who are you called? What do they call you? Who do you say I am? What do you call me? Oh my God. Okay, don't pull it down. Bring it down. I want to stay short. Okay? Many are called. You call people, people call you. You call yourself. And you go calling people. Those 5 categories right there, I'm telling you, is a 2-hour podcast. What you're calling yourself, what you're allowing people to call you, what you call people. Listen, what you call truth, what you call theology, what you call being a believer. Many are called doctor, they're called theologians, they're called pastors, they're called mentors, they're called bosses, they're called governors, prime ministers, because the world called them. There's a suffix at the beginning of the name, doctor, or something at the end of the prefix. PhD, BSS, BSc, BBS, MED, MB. Like, we have so many things we're called. And it applies to how good are you in rinse and repeating learned behavior. How good are you at repeating propaganda? How good are you at repeating what someone has brainwashed you to rinse and repeat? How good have you gotten at repeating the same lie for 5, 10, 15 years, and now you have a degree, a diploma, a status called supervisor, manager, zone manager? Like, people call you, but what does that mean? And then you have the few that are chosen. Because in the called and the callers and the calling, again, that could be 2-hour podcast. I have a calling. I stop it. Let me pull it down. In the world of the callers and the called and the callings, there are the chosen. Because in the midst of all of that, many were on the path of being called, and then they got chosen because they allowed truth to hit them. Even on that path of being called a graduate, being called post-secondary, being called pre-med, being called third-year university student, being called even a high school dropout, being called an electrician, or be called a principal, being called a teacher, being called a father, being called a mother, being called a brother, being called a judge, a lawyer. on being called a friend, being called a landlord. In the world of being called, there have been some chosens, and it's only few. That is another 2-hour podcast itself. So I'm just here to say welcome to Mirror Work. You're going to see more of it on Hope Wellness Info. We're setting it up so that Mirror Work will be exclusively over there. And then over here, you're going to have the relaunch or the rebirth of just my conversations. And that's something I had an internet radio station show. I developed 3 shows. I executive produced. I did everything from the conceptual of the show idea to getting the guests to running it on air and the commercial, like all that. So, and I thank the owner of that radio radio organization, that radio company, for giving me hands-on. And it was, I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, come on in, let me teach you. And he gave me a good 2-week, like, hands-on every day. And he's like, there you go. And he's kind of throw me in the water, just made me start to swim. So thank you so much, Kingsley, for that opportunity. So back in 2018, 2019, can't remember when, but back in before COVID, one of my internet radio shows was Conversations with LadyO. I get my Facebook reminders, and Facebook says, oh, you're a year ago, reminder story 2-3 years ago. And I'm like, oh yeah. For those reasons, Facebook is aight for, right? Those reminders. And so yeah, the Conversations with LadyO had a lot of banging influencers in business, international, that came on my show as a result of when we were free to travel as Canadians and network. And I was transitioning into another area of my journey, leaving corporate and launching Oat Network and my media shows. So Conversations with LadyO was around since 2018-19. I gotta go to Facebook and have Facebook remind me. So we're gonna do that over here, Conversations with me. And conversation is 2-way. And I know many people are very nervous in doing 2-way with me. I've heard that people are afraid, and I'm like, what are you afraid of? I don't bite. It's just, I'm just real. Like, you're gonna come to me with your viewpoint and your made up position, and I am gonna hear you, and I'm gonna come to you with mine. And what I've come to understand is the discomfort is that many are not solid in what they say. So when they are in conversations with someone like me, it's very intimidating. And I'm not here to intimidate. I'm here to be me, which is to show you perspectives from a point of view that many has not allowed themselves to be exposed to. And that is only because they've not gone to or faced their belief system objectively. See, the reason why I have been chosen to see so many things in many different perspectives, when I had my face-to-face, I've had 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. I would say 5. Because each one of them were very traumatic, and it's only as a result of mirror work where I'm allowing my memory to go back to certain things, because just trauma has a way of making you shut down memories because you're not ready yet to touch it, right? And part of the mirror work is where you fortify and you get yourself secure and confident that no, I can revisit that, and I'm going to revisit that knowing that there is something there that is there for me. A lesson, a part in my journey that was affected and has to now be perfected. So returning back and being able to return back standing on top of the trauma and looking down in it and not being in the trauma, it does take work. And I'm very grateful. So as my memory has allowed me to remember the incidences, I've counted 5. I've counted 5. Before, I think it was 2017, 18, I had only remembered 3. And then 19, 20 before the COVID, so I would say like January, February-ish, I remembered 2. And it was just like the timing was amazing as to when that is, and just the why, because I always return back, not just to relive it or to relive the experiences, is like why did that happen, what was going on, what was the purpose, what was the intended purpose, and then why. What, it's I've always been that why child. That why why does it make sense? Explain it to me, and you have to really explain it for me to make sense. And if it doesn't make sense, I'm like, and I'll be asking the questions until it makes sense. I'm that kid. So, yeah. So, in going back to those, I've always been that person, that living person, that woman that will always visit things objectively. Even when I've been told, it's like, why is that being said? And where did that come from? I'm the why child, and where did that come from, child? And adults who were called authoritative or authority figures did not like my type of child. And that is why I remembered one of them tried to classify my daughter, my firstborn, as ODD, oppositional defiance disorder, because she was brought up by a why and when mother, like why, or that doesn't make sense, or so she'll go to school, and those in authority would not like the fact that they call it defiant. And let me tell you, and I'm really gonna wrap it up, when I said in one of my videos, and people who took it as angry or passionate and all of that, you're absolutely right. Those emotions that you felt, exactly that's what it was. Like humanity, I am so, God. But anyhow, they've been programming you to hand your child over into their system, saying something's wrong with your child. So for those guardians who stood on guard over your child's mental, emotional, and physical being, and know that your position is that you are the guardian, and these teachers and these systems are here to assist you, not you here assisting them by just handing over your children into their system. They're here to assist you because, okay, you have to go to work because the system is now catered to now having to push 2 people out there to work for you to actually be able to keep a roof over your head. For those that want to be stay-at-home guardians, stay-at-home mothers, it was frowned upon. And it's like, no, I need a working woman. It's like, okay, listen, I got that. Listen, You know I got that. You know that right there. I flip that up on the head. Oh, you got nothing on me on that. And I do that as a result of the need to do it. And sometimes it's the want to do it when you find arrogant men that feel that you can't do what they do. So you just go to prove a point. My daughter was like that too. And she has a beautiful story of when she went into football to prove a point and she busted that boy's butt, man. And then she was done with the game. She was just like, I just did to prove a point. Because he said girls can't play football. And she's like, what? Man. And her name is still on the records. I think she's the second female in all of Ontario. And I think the first in Toronto. I can't remember the stats at that time. That actually played football in the league. Because they weren't really opening it up for females then. But yeah, my daughter's like, she does stuff just to like, what did you just say? I don't want, but just because she's that, right? So yeah, I could trust me. And when I step into any arena, that's where it gets threatening because like, whoa, yeah, I can. But I don't want to. I really want to be on guard at home because our children need that solid foundation and they need that nurturing. They need to make sure, they need to know that somebody's there on the ready at all times. And they need that buffer. They need that first 10-year buffer with all the nonsense out there. Trust and believe. So when you have that conflict of working woman and showing that you can do it, and it's like, yeah, I can. And when I step in there, it's over. It's over. And I don't want to. I don't want to. When children came into the picture, it's like, no, somebody needs to be on guard and somebody needs to be on watch. You better watch. I remember that Medea scene there when she's like, you better watch. Like you need somebody on watch. Your children needs to be in extracurricular activity. You need to be there. The dropping off and picking up, you don't know. Listen, I know people talk now, they talk about Boy Scouts and all that. I was always like that. Listen, wherever my children is, I'm sitting right there. I'm right here. When it's over, I'm right here. Like, and you have to be able to have the ability to be there. So when I heard you are a mother, the test is positive, I was like, oh, hell has broken loose because I've now stepped into that arena. They don't want me in that arena. So trust me, hell and the kitchen sink, when the trumpet was sound, dun, 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 she's a mother. Hell was like, oh, hell no. She ain't coming over here. Oh my God, listen. I have jokes. Let me tell you, I need a cartoon show as well because the skits that's in my head that I want to put in animation. Listen, hell's like the demons are like, what'd you say? Like news came down. She did what? No. Listen. so oh God. So yes. And I understand why I've had miscarriages, and I've had atopic pregnancies, where my life was in danger, the baby's life. Before I became, consistently being a mother like this, I'm like, why? Like, what's going on? Why can't? Later on in life, I realized why. It was like, oh no, you can't come over here. You stay over there. You stay in the independent woman. You stay over there. We don't want you over here into guardian world and parenting world and school, educational systems. What? No, we don't want you over here. Childcare, daycare. We don't want you like into the youth programming, youth work. No, listen. Stay over there, sir. Stay over there. So, anyhow, Conversations with LadyO. Stay tuned. It's gonna be a good one. And don't be scared. Don't be scared. Have I'm not gonna bite. I'm not gonna bite. My disclaimer is that I will make you mildly uncomfortable, moderately uncomfortable, or severely uncomfortable. Those are the ranges that I have had feedback on. And there are those that I am no discomfort. They're just like, listen, love you. So I'm saying that's the range. I remember when I was going through my breast cancer surgery before that, they had these big long horse needles. I mean long ass needles with some ink in it. And I remembered, and I still have them, the tattoos all around my breast area. They said it was going to be permanent tattoos. And when the purpose of they insert it around the breast area, and as they push it in, they give you the range of excruciating pain as a result of their feedbacks from patients. And the whole purpose of the ink is when it gets in you, it lights up and all that, and it assists them in identifying where the cancer and all this kind of stuff. It lights it up, right? Whatever. So that's part of when I was getting prepped to going to the whole surgery, because when I went into surgery, they did not know the extent of the cancer. As a result of it was in me for 2 years and nobody took me seriously. Finally, they did, because I advocated for myself, because I know my body when something's wrong, and they're like, okay, let's just calm her down. And then they sent me through all the testing to calm me down, because they thought I was like, it was my anxiety going, because by that time they had already diagnosed me with anxiety because of the other issues that was happening in my life. So they thought it was just my mind running away. So my doctor just sent me to the mammogram and doing all the work just to calm me down, because they were confident that there was nothing there. There's nothing. Long story short, after the mammogram, they're like, it's inconclusive, but don't worry. We have to do a biopsy and all that. And every time they do one stage, you're trying to tell me don't worry. And I'm like, whatever. So anyhow, by the time they got it, the surgeon, she was going to be going on vacation. And these doctors, their vacation ain't your 2-week vacation from your 9 to 5. Their vacation is months, all right? Because they need sabbaticals to step away from this world, especially in this high stress surgeon world that they're in. And she's a specialist specifically for breast augmentation, cancer, and all this kind of stuff, right? So her vacation is months. And then she comes back in because she has to rejuvenate herself, right? So anyhow, so she was scheduled 2 weeks from when she was sent to me to be done, and then she's gone for a couple months, and I come back, and then I could be in her next cycle of surgeries. I'm like, I ain't waiting that long. No. So they had to rush through. So she slapped me in. She had an opening within her 2 week before she was done her cycle, before she goes on her sabbatical. And as a result of that, they had to rush through every test that she requires. But the catch is she doesn't know what the results is going to be. I don't know what the results is going to be. The results are going to be revealed to her on the operating table while I am under. So she can't have patient conversation like, okay, well, this is the results and this is what we could do. No. So the results for all these I'm telling you, I went through a gambit. I'm talking, listen, plethora is an understatement of the tests I had to go through. Like every day I was, oh my gosh, because she needed everything, and she's going to get all the results while I'm there, while I'm under. So we had our conversation about the worst case scenario. And she's like, okay, you need to give me authorization for this scenario, that scenario, because we don't know. So in saying all that, one of the things that they had to give me these horse needles with these dye, and they gave me the scope of their feedback. And that's why I'm giving you the scope of the feedback. And the scope of their feedback with the excruciating pain is a little tingle till you feel a little burn and it's painful, to excruciating screaming. And they said, we had to disclose that to you because this is the range in which for all the years they've been inserting these horse needle liquid dye into the surrounding areas of where they have to do surgery that needs to be illuminated. That's the range of the pain threshold. But they're guaranteeing I'm going to feel something, but it could be from a little tingle to a little, you feel that little, you could feel it running through your veins. You feel the coldness, or you could feel something, to tingle, burning, tingle, ouch, to, oh my gosh, to yelling out, right? And that's not the needle. The needle is long, yes, but that's not just the needle. They're talking about the needle plus as the fluid is going in. So they pump the fluid in at very slow intervals into your veins as a result of, again, when the wham hits, right? And the horse needles, you see them you see them on the tray. And it ain't one horse needle, ladies and gentlemen. It was like, how many of my tattoos? 1, 2, 3, I think it was 5 of them. One, right? And you see it and you're thinking, oh, that got to come into me? Like, like, so after they do one, they got to wait to look for your response, and they do another one. So could you imagine? Oh my God. So that was the range of the threshold of pain that they had to give me a heads up on. And I know you probably want to know what my pain level was. That's for the podcast. Trust me. When I tell you God is good, and when I tell you Yeshua is real, when I tell you the power of visualization, when I tell you, when you walk into this belief system that you say and you actually live it like you believe it, it's a completely different experience of this quote unquote human experience. So I am referencing the scope of feedback based on that experience, that in interacting with me, the range is mildly, moderately to severely uncomfortable. Okay. And then you have the ones that aren't. So I don't know where you're going to land in the spectrum. You're going to know because you're the one who's on the other side of hearing what I have to say. And how does that hit you? How does that feel to you? How does that make you feel? And that is for you now to look in the mirror as to, why am I feeling this way when she says that? Right? What is it that she's saying that when she says it is hitting me this type of way? Right? So, as I said, my journey through the why and who said that and where did that come from and the truth of what that means, or where I've always been that why child, that make sense child, and also too my nurturing. My father was he prided himself in his children being critical thinkers and challenging everything, and lovers of finding the truth, getting into books, researching, and knowing that every book is written by someone and their perspective, and going through that, knowing that many of you read books like it's the gospel and not stop to say, okay, at the end of the day. And again, if you've taken literature, or it's my podcast, just stay tuned. All right. So Conversations with LadyO is going to be relaunched. And while we're waiting for all that, as I say, get connected to Myron Golden and what he's doing. It's an amazing, amazing source. It gets your critical thinking juices going. And I'm just going to end with this. We cannot force someone to hear a message they are not ready to receive. And that is why the gauge is mildly, moderately, and severely uncomfortable when what I say hits the listener. We cannot force someone to hear a message they are not ready to receive. But we must never underestimate the power of planting a seed. So I'm always here, as I said, as a witness to plant a seed and to make access to critical thinking accessible. And so go and check out Myron Golden, www.hopewellness.info. You're going to see a tab there that says Myron Golden. Get connected. As an amazing offer right now where there is a money back guarantee on his products. through Hope Wellness affiliate link. The information's there, the videos are there. There's also free content there. And you can get access to the money back guarantee offers through the Hope Wellness affiliate link. Let 2022 really be the year where you allow yourself to be mildly, moderately, and severely uncomfortable and challenge that. And come out wanting to be the person that is comfortable in your belief. I mean, you're solid. So solid that you don't have a problem with someone else's perception, and you're comfortable in having a conversation with it. And you also have the ability to not hear from an emotional sense, regardless of what the person's emotion is, hearing what is really behind the emotions. That is where we as human have to really evolve. We have to get through the emotions and really figure out what is the emotion really saying, right? And I'm going to end in asking yourself, are you an asset or a liability to the agenda that's at play right now that is against humanity? Or are you an asset or a liability for the other agenda that's on play for humanity? Ask yourself that. All right. This is LadyO. Stay in action, faith, and possibility. What time is it? Let me see. What was I able to do? 46 minutes. Okay, I should be able to upload it to YouTube. So, stay in action, faith, and possibility. Walk in a protection light. Your purpose will find you. Say what you mean. And people, live like you mean what you say. You say you're a believer. Please, for the love of your witness, for the love of what's going to be said about or against you, for the love of the living witness of how you lived, please begin to live like you mean what you say. If you say you're a believer, begin to live like it. And know that your belief system is in conflict with the places and spaces you go and you get a paycheck to give your human resources to agendas that is against your belief system. You're a double agent. People talk about, oh, you're an agent. The person's an agent. You are a double agent. What does the word say about being lukewarm? You're going to be spit out. Let me tell you, my podcast is going to be lit. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye.